to vibrate. Mr. Majority Leader.
Good afternoon and welcome to the stated meeting of March 10, 2026. I am Majority Leader Sean Abreu and I'd like to thank you for joining us. As a reminder, decorum must be respected at all times. If you would like to follow along, the agenda for today's meeting is posted on our website.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Roll call.
Aldebol.
Here.
Ariola. Aviles.
Presente.
Banks.
Here.
Brewer.
Here.
Brooks Powers. Caban.
Present.
De La Rosa.
Here.
Dinowitz.
Here.
Encarnacion.
Presente.
Epstein.
Here.
Farias.
Present.
Felder.
Here.
Felice.
Here.
Gennaro.
Here.
Gutierrez.
Here.
Hanif. Hankerson.
I'm here.
Hanks.
Present.
Hudson.
Present.
Joseph.
Present.
Krishnan.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Maloney.
Present.
Marte.
Here.
Mealy. Morano. Narcisse.
Present.
Nurse.
Here.
Osei.
Present.
Palladino. Wrestler.
Here.
Riley.
Present.
Salam.
Present.
Justin Sanchez.
In attendance.
Pierina Sanchez.
Aquí estoy.
Santos Suoso.
Here.
Shulman.
Here.
Stevens.
Yep. Here.
Thomas Henry.
Present.
Ung.
Present.
Vernikoff. Williams.
I'm here.
One.
Present.
Wang. Zhuang. Carr. Abreu.
Present.
Speaker Menon.
Present.
Thank you. We will now have today's invocation, which will be delivered by Pastor Jay Gooding, the senior pastor of Miracle Revival Fellowship Tabernacle Church, which is located at 1555 McCombs Road in the Bronx.
Let us pray. O Lord our God, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. First, we thank thee for a brand new mercy and a brand new day. For this is the day the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Even now, as we come before you in celebration of Women's History Month, we thank you for Speaker Menon and the 31 women of our city council who have broken barriers and lifted up their voices. Her story can be told by their courage and perseverance to help shape our city and communities. So as we invoke your divine presence upon these chambers and this city council, we pray your wisdom and guidance in their governing upon our great city of New York. We ask your blessings upon this council and grant them the wisdom to make policy and laws that will make fair and just decisions for us all. I pray that you bind us together in the spirit of oneness, recognizing the significance that we are better together. Help us to always walk in a spirit of common unity that enables us to build thriving communities. Communities that where there is darkness, help us be your shining beams of light. Communities that where there is despair will transcend your spirit of hope. Communities that are engulfed by hate can embrace your spirit of love. Communities that are ravaged by senseless violence may be transformed by your spirit of peace. Communities that are full of grudges can mirror your spirit of generosity. Community that even when we don't agree, never becomes a community that becomes disagreeable. And so I pray from these chambers, every person, religion, creed, and color in every borough be treated with justice, dignity, and liberty for us all. Lastly, I pray that as prayer and planning be made in these chambers, that your peace and purpose be manifested in this city. These things we ask in your matchless name and for your sake. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. I will now ask Councilmember Shirley Aldable to spread the invocation on the record.
Thank you, Majority Leader Abreu, Speaker Menin. Happy Women's History Month to everyone. I am very proud to introduce an incredibly special community and faith leader to represent the East Bronx here at City Hall, Pastor J. Allen Gooding Sr. Pastor Gooding is a respected and influential minister, leader, and advocate, and musician. I like that the best. He grew up in the Bronx surrounded by faith, community, and music. His work with the church began at age of just 11 years old when he became the organist of the Miracle Revival Temple in the Bronx under the pastorate of his father. Gooding attended Bronx public schools before earning his bachelor's degree in theology. Pastor Gooding went on to establish the Fellowship Tabernacle Church of God in Christ in the East Bronx. The parish was a fixture of the community for decades as a gathering space, service provider, and spiritual center. Now, as superintendent, Gooding oversees 2 churches in Bronx County and serves as the chairman of Eastern New York's Urban and Civic Affairs Department for the first ecclesiastical jurisdiction of Eastern New York. In addition to his work as pastor and faith leader, Gooding has consistently been an active participant and leader in civic organizations across the Bronx and New York State. Previously, he served as Bronx Community Board 11 and Bronx Borough President's Clergy Task Force Coalition and the Bronx Business Alliance Executive Board. Currently, Pastor Gooding is deeply embedded in our District 13 communities. He serves as the president of the 49th Precinct Clergy Council, covering the East Bronx neighborhoods of Allerton, Morris Park, Van Ness, Pelham Parkway, and Pelham Gardens. Gooding also serves as outreach director for Jacobi Hospital's Stand Up to Violence program. This program brings violence interrupters to work in areas hard hit by violence to mediate conflicts and provide support to at-risk people and communities. Gooding's leadership and guidance have played a key role in the program's continued success and growth. Gooding has received numerous awards and citations in recognition of the breadth and depth of his work. Pastor Gooding is committed to God, his family, and the communities that he has been called to serve. He represents the best of the Bronx and the best of our District 13 community. Thank you, Pastor Gooding, for joining us here today and for all you contribute to the Bronx through your leadership, community, service, and faith. Madam Speaker and Majority Leader Abreu, I would like to move that the invocation delivered by Pastor J. Allen Gooding Sr. be entered into the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Aldable. We will now ask Councilmember Harvey Epstein for the adoption of minutes.
I make a motion that the minutes of the stated meeting of February 24th, 2026 be adopted as printed.
Messages and papers from the mayor.
None.
Communication from city, county, and borough offices.
Preconsidered items 48 and 49, council budget.
Finance.
M50, controller's report.
Received, ordered, printed, and filed.
M51, conflicts of interest board appointment.
Referred to rules.
Petitions and communications.
None.
Land use call-ups.
M52,
Thank you. I'd now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on today's land use call-up.
Kaban.
Permission to vote on all items on today's agenda?
Permission granted.
I vote aye on all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aldebol.
I vote aye.
Ariola. Aviles.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brooks Powers. De La Rosa.
Aye.
Dinowitz. Encarnacion.
Aye.
Epstein.
Aye on all.
Farias.
I vote aye.
Felder.
Aye.
Feliz.
C.
Gennaro.
Aye.
Thank you. Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilmember Brooks Powers, land use call-ups.
Aye.
Thank you. Hanif. Hankerson.
Aye.
Hanks.
Aye.
Hudson.
Aye.
Joseph.
Aye.
Krishnan.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Maloney.
Aye.
Marte.
Aye.
Mealy. Morano. Narcisse.
Aye.
Nurse.
I vote aye.
Osei.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Palladino. Wrestler.
Aye.
Riley.
Aye.
Salam.
I vote aye.
Justin Sanchez.
Aye.
Marina Sanchez.
Aye.
Santos Suoso.
Aye.
Thank you. Schulman.
Aye.
Stevens. Thomas Henry.
Aye.
Ung.
Mr. Majority Leader, I ask permission to vote on all items on today's agenda.
Permission granted.
I vote aye on all items.
Thank you, Councilmember. Vernikov. Williams.
I vote aye.
One.
Aye.
Wang. Zhuang.
Aye.
Dinowitz. Land use call-ups.
Aye.
Thank you. Hanif. Carr. Abreu.
Aye.
Speaker Menin.
Aye.
Today's land use call-ups are adopted by a vote of 41 in the affirmative and 0 in the negative. Thank you. Thank you. We will now have communication from Speaker Julie Menin.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we are meeting now, a suspicious device was found in Carl Schurz Park in my district. I just got off the phone with the police commissioner. The NYPD is investigating this incident. This is obviously an evolving and developing situation. This morning, Finance Chair Linda Lee and I released a new council economic forecast and budget analysis ahead of our preliminary budget oversight hearings, which begin tomorrow. I want to encourage every member to show up for these incredibly important budget hearings. The economic forecast shows a difference of nearly $400 million in tax revenue projections compared to the Mayor's Office of Budget and Management for fiscal years 2026 and 2027 combined. Our separate fiscal analysis identified nearly $1.7 billion in potential savings and additional revenue just in fiscal year 2026 alone, which of course ends on June 30th. That analysis shows we can protect critical government services without drawing down on our rainy day fund, which had been proposed by the administration in its preliminary budget. And I want to make clear the rainy day fund has never been drawn down, whether it be during COVID or during the asylum seeker crisis. So we think that this should only be reserved for true fiscal emergencies. We're committed to maintaining fiscal discipline and will continue to collaborate with the administration to ensure the finances of the 5 boroughs remain strong. Over the weekend, we witnessed an attempted act of ISIS-influenced terrorism outside Gracie Mansion during a protest that occurred in my district. This could clearly have easily become a lethal situation. I'm relieved that no one was injured, that the mayor and his family are safe, that the residents in my district are safe. Now, of course, as I mentioned, there is another suspicious device that is under investigation, which is a really intolerable situation. 2 alleged suspects were charged yesterday, and they must be held fully accountable. I'm deeply grateful to the NYPD for their swift and heroic response, particularly NYPD Chief Aaron Edwards and Sergeant Luis Navarro, who without hesitation risked their own safety for the safety of others. The right to peacefully protest is, of course, sacrosanct, regardless of the content, but violence and terrorism have absolutely no place in our city. On a more celebratory note, I want to say, of course, that Sunday was International Women's Day. And so we are, of course, a women-led New York City Council, and I know that the pride that we all feel cannot be measured. We're so proud of women in the city and all that they are accomplishing, women in public service and across every different industry and sector. And so it was a very celebratory day. And lastly, I want to say on the personnel side, I'm very excited to announce 4 new appointments to our senior staff. Joe Daniels was the former CEO and president of the 9/11 Memorial Museum. He handled the construction of that very complicated project, and when there were 60 active projects going on around Ground Zero, he is going to be our new senior advisor for economic development. Together with Leah Goldman, who has done a lot in terms of economic development and different public-private partnerships. Together, Joe and Leah will co-direct our new Office for Advancing Partnerships and Economic Expansion, or APEX for short. We're also welcoming Greg Krakauer, who served as counselor and senior advisor to the New York State Attorney General. He will be the new counsel to the Speaker, working on oversight and investigations matters. And lastly, but certainly not least, I'm so thrilled to say that Maka Ajibi is being elevated to General Counsel. She is the first Black person to ever occupy the office of General Counsel in the City Council. Maka, I particularly want to congratulate you. So March 14th is Holi, the Hindu festival of colors, of love, and of course of spring, which it feels like today. On March 17th, we're going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and I look forward to once again marching down Fifth Avenue at the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade, and I hope many of you can join. March 23rd is Pakistan Day, which commemorates the adoption of the Lahore Resolution that led to the formation of the nation of Pakistan. I join all Pakistani New Yorkers who celebrate this day of freedom and independence. March 25th is Greek Independence Day, and we join our city's vibrant Greek communities in observance of this important celebration. Next, on the birthday front, I want to wish a happy birthday to Councilmember Chi Osei, who is celebrating on the 18th, and Councilmember Lincoln Ressler, whose birthday is on the 19th. Happy birthday. Wishing you both wonderful celebrations. I want to take a moment. I want to take a moment on a more somber note to acknowledge the passing of former council member Ronnie Eldridge, who represented Upper West Side for 12 years. She was a trailblazer whose dedication to public service has left a lasting mark on not only her community, but on our city, and certainly her commitment to justice continues to shape the work that we do every single day. Now I want to move on to our stated agenda. First, we're going to vote on the following land use items: 395 Flatbush Avenue, a proposal by HPD in conjunction with DOHMH, DCAS, and developers Rabina and Park Tower Group to facilitate the redevelopment of an existing city-owned 7-story office building into a 72-story mixed-use building with approximately 1,263 new housing units, including 325 affordable units under MIH Option 1 in Councilmember Crystal Hudson's district. The council is modifying the application to strike MIH Option 2. 14-10 Beach Channel Drive, which is an application to facilitate the development of a new 6-story mixed-use commercial community facility and residential building with approximately 92 housing units, approximately 28 of which will be affordable under MIH in Councilmember Savina Brooks Powers district. The council is modifying the application to reduce the rezoning area without affecting the proposed development. 33-01 11th Street rezoning, an application to facilitate the development of a new 10-story mixed-use building with approximately 258 housing units, 65 of which will be affordable under MIH, as well as light industrial, commercial, and community facility space in Councilmember Tiffany Caban's district. The council is modifying the application to strike MIH Option 2 and add MIH Option 3. Next, we're going to vote on the following the following finance items: a transparency resolution approving new designations and changes of certain organizations receiving funding in the expense budget; a preconsidered resolution sponsored by Councilmember Linda Lee, amending a prior resolution approving an Article 11 tax exemption for a 9-story building in Councilmember Osei's district. The council will vote on its fiscal year 2027 proposed operating budget, including $95.06 million for personal services and $32 million for other than personal services. Next, we will vote on the following legislation. Introduction 409A, sponsored by Councilmember Kevin Riley, would require the Department of Transportation to post signs on each block of any street subject to bus lane restrictions. The signs would indicate the hours and days when bus lane restrictions are in effect and would also require DOT to publish on its website the hours and days when bus lane restrictions are in effect for each affected street in the city. Thank you to Mark Chen, to Theodore Miller, to Kevin Kotowski, and to John Basile for their work on this. Introduction 87A, sponsored by Councilmember Gail Brewer, would consolidate the Archival Review Board and the Archives Reference and Research Advisory Board into the Library and Archival Review Advisory Board. Thank you to Jahari Frazier and to Erica Cohen. Introduction 42-A, sponsored by Councilmember Parina Sanchez, is a technical correction to the Housing Maintenance Code. It would allow ancillary dwelling units in cellars of 1 and 2 family dwellings created as part of new construction to be utilized as a rental unit. Thank you to Austin Malone, William Eck, Dirk Spencer, and Jose Conde. Introduction 502-B, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Dr. Natasha Williams, would require the mayor to convene a quadrennial commission in 2026 to review the compensation levels of the mayor, public advocate, city controller, borough presidents, council members, and district attorneys in New York City. The bill would also require a commission to be convened between January 1st and 15th of 2030 and for every 4 years afterward. Thank you to Jahari Frazier and to Erica Cohen. Introduction, 416A, sponsored by Councilmember Justin Sanchez, would require the Department of Sanitation, Department of Transportation, and Office of Technology Information to establish a 2-year pilot program to encourage cleanliness and the removal of snow and ice at any bus shelter, bike share station, or public communication structure by notifying the structure's operator to remedy the condition. Thank you to Morgan Barrett, Samia Shell, Ricky Chawla, and Dirk Spencer. Now I want to turn it back over to our Majority Leader.
Thank you, Speaker Menon. Just wanted to remind folks that the mandatory COIP training, if you can please stay in the chambers after stated, that would be greatly appreciated. And for folks who are part of BLAC, BLAC will take a photo after COIP training if you can stay for that. As a reminder to disclose your conflicts before voting, we will now move into discussion of general orders. Remember, you have 2 minutes to speak. I will begin with Councilmember Sanchez, followed by Brewer.
Thank you, everyone. Today is an exciting day for me. It is the first time I have the privilege of passing a bill in the New York City Council, and I'm proud that it's one focused on something New Yorkers experience every single day, the conditions of our public spaces. If you ride the bus anywhere in New York City, you've seen the problem we're trying to address. Bus stops are not well kept, covered in litter, graffiti, and until this beautiful weather came in, snow. The bus is a crucial component of our public transportation network. Over 1 million New Yorkers ride the bus every day. And when they're sitting at a stop waiting for it to come, they shouldn't be sitting next to a pile of trash. When garbage piles up in our public spaces, it sends a message. Over time, that message affects mental health, physical health, and how people view their neighborhood, their city, and our bus system. And many people assume that's because the city doesn't care or because sanitation isn't doing its job. But that could not be further from the truth. The reality is that many of our city's bus shelters and transit structures are privately owned and maintained by concessionaires. These companies profit from the advertising on these structures, and with that profit comes the responsibility to maintain them. While our property owners, homeowners, and tenants received nearly 5,000 fines, these companies received a total of none. Yet, right above me, George Washington famously said, "Our commercial policy should hold an equal and impartial hand." And that is why I have introduced Intro 416, Litter's Last Stop. This bill makes that responsibility clear and enforceable. It requires concessionaires to regularly clean and maintain the area around their bus shelters and transit structures, including a small footprint around them so trash doesn't pile up where New Yorkers are waiting for their ride. This is about fairness and quality of life. Our sanitation workers already have the enormous job of keeping the streets of a city of 8 million people clean. They shouldn't have to pick up the slack for private companies that are obligated to maintain their own footprint. As we pass this bill today, I want to give praise to the DSNY workers who have shouldered this burden for far too long.
Councilmember, your time is up. Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll now move to Councilmember Brewer, followed by Kevin Riley.
Thank you very much. Intro 87 is called the Library and Archival Review Advisory Board. Basically, you should know that the New York City Municipal Archives hold more than 200 million records, photographs, maps, government documents that document our city's history and the work of our government. This bill will improve the coordination and efficiency in archival oversight and access. It will strengthen the independent review of how city records are preserved and managed and help oversee the digitization of all of them. Makes everything more transparent and accountable to New Yorkers. It merges the Archival Review Board and the Archives Reference and Research Advisory Board into one, Library and Archival Review Advisory Board. It expands the membership to 9 members. Appointments will come from the mayor and the speaker, with the commissioner, Pauline Toole, or whomever it is, serving as chair, and I want to thank Ms. Toole. Requires members to have relevant professional expertise in archives, libraries, or records management. They will serve for 4 years. They will meet at least every 3 months, and they will have the ability to review the archival process and request relevant data from the department. And this will make sure that we have annual reporting requirements of our archives. If you're not crazy about archives like I am, you should be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Brewer. Councilmember Kevin Riley, followed by Councilmember Hudson.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today, the Council has the opportunity to advance legislation that will improve clarity and transparency around bus lane restrictions across New York City through the passage of Intro 409A. The bus lanes are a vital part of our transportation system, helping keeping buses moving efficiently for the millions of New Yorkers who rely on them every day. Intro 409A ensures that the rules governing bus lane restrictions are communicated clearly and consistently to New Yorkers. The legislation requires DOT to install clearly visible signage indicating the days and hours when the bus lane restrictions are in effect and to maintain a searchable online resource where New Yorkers can easily find that information. Clear rules help build public trust in our transportation system and make it easier for New Yorkers to follow the law while keeping our streets moving. I would like to thank my colleagues who joined me in sponsoring this legislation and for their partnership in advancing this measure today. I want to urge my colleagues to vote in favor for Intro 409A. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Riley. Councilmember Hudson, followed by Councilmember Brooks Powers.
Today we are voting on the application for 395 Flatbush Avenue Extension, which the Land Use Committee has already voted to approve. This is a significant step toward delivering more deeply affordable housing and greater community investment in downtown Brooklyn. From the outset, I was clear that this project had to go further to benefit the longevity of our community. Through sustained negotiations, we secured a new AMI tier at 30% for 102 units, increased the number of units for households earning 40% AMI, and eliminated the 100% AMI tier to better target low and moderate income New Yorkers. We also increased the number of family-sized units to approximately 347 2- and 3-bedroom homes because families deserve the opportunity to stay and grow in the communities they helped build. This agreement also recognizes that residential growth must come with real community investment. The development will contribute $1 million over 10 years to support Fort Greene Park, helping ensure that one of Brooklyn's most treasured public spaces is maintained as density increases around it. As additional projects move forward in this area, I will continue to push for deeper, sustained investments in our public spaces so that neighborhood infrastructure keeps pace with development. This project is the result of sustained advocacy and productive partnership with both the developer and the administration to deepen affordability, expand family housing, and secure tangible benefits for our neighborhood. As downtown Brooklyn continues to evolve, I remain focused on making sure development delivers real, lasting value for our community. Thank you.
Councilmember Brooks Powers.
Thank you. The 1410 Beach Channel Drive proposal before us today is the product of sustained engagement with the Rockaway community. From the outset, I was clear that any development on the peninsula must reflect our realities: working families, limited transit access, environmental vulnerabilities, and a long history of underinvestment. The plan has materially changed thanks to our negotiations. Studio units have been eliminated and replaced with a meaningful number of 2- and 3-bedroom apartments that better serve working families. The project now includes a 1-to-1 parking ratio, recognizing that in a transit desert like the Rockaways, car ownership is often a necessity, not a luxury. The applicant has also committed to continue pursuing both affordable and market rate homeownership opportunities. That matters. If we are serious about generational wealth and stability, homeownership must be a part of the housing conversation in my district and across the city. Beyond the building itself, there are important commitments: ambient air quality monitoring during nearby industrial operations with mechanical ventilations installed if needed, a 30% MBE and local hiring goal, including outreach and apprenticeship opportunities within Community Board 14, support for improvements at the Cornerstone Community Center operated by the Child Center of New York at Redfern Houses, an assigned MOU granting Glory Light Tabernacle a right of first refusal to lease community facility space at below market rent set at 60% of the market rate value. These negotiated outcomes are tied directly to community priorities. With those commitments secured and on the record, I am in favor of this proposal. I want to thank the Speaker's team for their support throughout this process and our community partners for their strong advocacy. With that, I ask my colleagues to vote aye.
Thank you, Councilmember. Seeing no one else signed up for general orders, report of special committees.
None.
Reports of standing committees.
Report of the Committee on Finance, preconsidered M48 and Reso 374, and preconsidered M49 and Reso 375, Council Budget.
Coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered Reso 353, Transparency Resolution.
Coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered LU 44 and Resolution 376, tax exemption.
Coupled.
Report of the Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation, Intro 87A, Archival Review Advisory Board.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intro 502B, Quadrennial Commission.
Amended and coupled.
Report of the Committee on Housing and Buildings, Intro 421A, Cellar Dwelling Units.
Amended and coupled.
Report of the Committee on Rules, Privileges, Elections, Standards, and Ethics, M38 and Reso 377, approving the appointment of Stephen Lafredo, Conflict of Interest Board.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Sanitation and Solid Waste Management, Intro 416A, Cleaning and Snow Removal at Street Fixtures.
Amended and coupled.
Report of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, Intro 409A, Bus Lane Restrictions.
Amended and coupled.
General Orders Calendar, LU 12 and Reso 378 through LU 16 and Reso 382, 395 Flatbush Avenue.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 28 and Reso 383 and LU 29 and Reso 384, 14-10 Beach Channel Drive.
Coupled.
LU 33 and Reso 385 and LU 34 and Reso 386, 33-01 11th Street.
Coupled.
Resolution appointing various persons, Commissioner of Deeds.
Coupled on general orders, and I'd now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all the items coupled on today's general orders calendar.
Hankerson.
I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Aldebo.
Aye on all.
Ariola.
I am an aye on all with the exception of 421A and 502B, for which I am a no.
Thank you.
Oh, I'd also like to disclose, and I should have at the start of my vote, that my son works for the Department of Sanitation, and they are currently on the resolution, the transparency resolution.
Thank you. Aviles.
I vote aye on all, disclose that my daughter is a student in New York City Public Schools.
Remember to do the disclosures first. Thank you.
Banks.
Aye on all.
Brewer.
I work at CUNY, and I want to also forgot to thank for the Intro 87, Jahari Fraser and Erica Cohen, and from my office, Cynthia Hornig, and I vote aye on all.
Brooks Powers.
I vote aye on all.
De La Rosa.
Aye.
Dinowitz.
Aye.
Encarnacion.
Aye on all.
Epstein.
Aye and all. I want to thank Steve Lafredo for his decades of public service, and I'm so excited to be voting for him today.
Farias.
I vote aye on all.
Felder.
Aye.
Feliz.
Aye on all.
Gennaro.
I vote aye on all, with the exception of Intro 421A, on which I vote no.
Thank you, Councilmember. Gutierrez.
Aye on all.
Hanif. Hanks.
I vote aye on all.
Hudson.
Aye on all.
Joseph.
I'd like to disclose on the record that my child is a student in New York City Public Schools that's being funded in this transparency reso, and aye on all.
Krishnan.
I'd like to disclose that my children are New York City DOE students, and I vote aye on all.
Lee.
I'd like to also disclose that my kids are students at DOE Public Schools, and I vote aye on all.
Lewis.
Aye on all.
Maloney.
I vote aye, and I want to congratulate my colleague, Councilmember Justin Sanchez, on passing his first bill on sanitation, which I wholeheartedly support. More accountability for the city to hold private operators accountable and keep our bus shelters clean and clear.
Reminder for folks who are speaking on their vote to request for permission. Thank you.
Marte.
Aye.
Thank you. Mealy.
May I have permission?
Permission granted.
I vote aye on all and no on 421A.
Thank you. Morano.
I'd like to request unanimous consent to vote on land use call-ups.
Permission granted.
I'll vote aye on the land use call-ups. And as for the items coupled on general orders, I vote
Sorry,
aye.
it requires unanimous consent.
Okay.
Are any objections? Seeing none.
I thank the body for your consent. And I'd like to vote aye on all with the exception of 421A and 502B, on which I vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Narcisse.
I voted aye with concern of enforcement for 416A, but I just spoke to my colleagues, and I'm hoping enforcement is more in the collaboration. And I vote aye and hoping for the best.
Nurse.
I vote aye.
Osei.
I vote aye.
Palladino.
I vote aye with the exception of 502B and 421A, of which I vote no.
Wrestler.
Aye.
Riley.
I just want to state for the record that my children are a part of the New York City public school system, and I vote aye on everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Salam.
I vote aye on all.
Justin Sanchez.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
First and foremost, I want to thank all of my colleagues. I proudly vote aye on all the intro, but I want to take a moment to really just thank the sanitation committee staff, all the legislative staff who worked closely with me to shape this legislation and move it forward. Your work behind the scenes is what allows ideas like this to actually become policy. I want to thank to all my colleagues for coming to vote this out of committee, and council members Abreu and Hanif, who partnered with me on a joint hearing on snow removal. That hearing really helped highlight a lot of gaps in responsibility around bus shelters and transit infrastructure, and I would be remiss if I do not give a special thank you to the leadership of our speaker, Julie Menon. She first introduced this legislation last session and entrusted me with the opportunity to bring it over the finish line this term. I am truly and enthusiastically grateful for this. Public space comes with real public responsibility, and starting today, we're making it clear that if you profit from our public space, you must help take care of it, because just like our bus, the litter stops here. Thank you very much.
Please tell us your vote.
I vote aye. I said that at the beginning.
Thank you, Councilman. Farina Sanchez.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you. I just want to highlight that Intro 421A is a technical cleanup that is associated with the zoning text amendment this council passed in December of 2024 called the City of Yes for Housing Opportunity. There was a misalignment between the Housing Maintenance Code, which is HPD's code, and the zoning text. And so we are clarifying that in both the zoning text and in the Housing Maintenance Code, it is legal to have ancillary dwelling units in certain parts of the city. And just highlighting again for us and for the public that through this City of Yes for Housing Opportunity and the accompanying plan, City for All, we gained for our constituents $5 billion in housing investments. Many of you will be doing very proud ribbon cuttings on infrastructure projects. You will be receiving thanks from your constituents who are going to get down payment assistance and other housing assistance. So that was a big win for this body, and I just continue to be proud of that. And with that, I want to disclose upon the record that my brother is affiliated with CUNY, and that is being voted on today. And with that, I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Santos Suoso.
I vote aye on all. Special congratulations to Councilmember Justin Sanchez.
Thank you, Councilmember. Schulman.
Aye on all.
Stevens.
Aye.
Thomas Henry.
Aye.
Vernikov.
Aye on all with the exception of intro 421A and 502B, on which I vote no.
Thank you, Councilmember. Williams.
I vote aye on all.
1.
Aye.
Wang.
Aye on all except on 502B and 421A, in which I vote no.
Thank you. Zhuang.
I want to spread on the record, my kids go to public schools.
Thank you, Councilman. Hanif. Carr.
I'd like to move for unanimous consent to vote on the land use call-ups as well as general order calendar items.
Are there any objections? Seeing none.
I'd like to vote aye on all except for introductions 421A and 502B, on which I vote no.
Thank you. Abreu.
Aye.
Speaker Menon.
I vote aye on all, but I'm going to abstain on 502B, and I want to congratulate all my colleagues on the passage of their bills today.
All items on today's general order calendar are adopted by a vote of 49 in the affirmative and 0 in the negative and 0 abstentions, with the exception of Intro 421A, which was adopted by a vote of 41 in the affirmative, 8 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, and Intro 502B, which was adopted by a vote of 42 in the affirmative, 6 in the negative, and 1 abstention. The revised land use call-ups vote is 43 in the affirmative and 0 in the negative. Introduction and reading of bills.
All bills have been referred to committee as indicated on today's agenda.
There are no items on our resolution calendar, so we will now move into general discussion, beginning with Minority Leader Carr, followed by Brewer.
Thank you, Majority Leader. On Saturday, the peace of our city was disrupted by two terrorists with bombs. Thankfully, no one was harmed by their heinous and violent acts. Let us be clear. Violence is never the answer to the exercise of free speech by others, no matter what we may think of what is being said. The answer to speech we oppose is always more speech. I look forward to swift justice that I pray will come of the process ahead, but I just hope that we never see anything like this again. However, I believe the enduring image and legacy of this event will actually be the amazing response of our New York City police officers. The instinct to flee from danger in human beings is primal. It's built into our DNA as a survival mechanism. Every part of our bodies drive us to put our own safety first. So when I see this photo of Chief Aaron Edwards circulating on social media, hurtling over a barrier like Olympian Edward Moses toward a handmade bomb that was just thrown by deranged radicals outside a Gracie Mansion on Saturday, I'm at a loss. I cannot fathom how he is defying hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution, how he is resisting his own body's chemistry and running toward danger, not away. Maybe it's years of training, or maybe the brave men and women of the NYPD are just made of different stuff, because that seems to be the only explanation that he and the other officers assigned to that protest to run towards that bomb. This iconic image should be part of the lore of our city. When there is talk about cutting NYPD hiring or disbanding the Strategic Response Group, which was specifically created to ensure people are safe during protests, we are talking about people like Chief Edwards. We are talking about the people who literally man the barricades between free speech and assembly and violence and terrorism, the heroes who run towards danger to keep us all safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Minority Leader. Councilmember Brewer, followed by Salam.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the speaker talking about Ronnie Eldridge. I just want to say a few more things. She preceded me, and I know that when she was in the council, she worked on many women's issues, but particularly women in prison, trying to find a way for them to get out. She worked with Bella Abzug. She worked with Mario Cuomo as head of his division for women, and she was very much known for this efforts also with the LGBTQ community. She was part of the Dump Johnson in the 1960s, and then in '68 really became Robert Kennedy's go-to person in the city of New York. She talked about him, and he talked about her so positively. She went all the way back, Democrat for Lindsay, and was part of his administration. She was a TV producer at Channel 13, but many of us were on her CUNY TV show, which she hosted for many, many years and included so many elected officials and others in the city of New York. She's a graduate of Music and Art High School, which preceded LaGuardia, and she was a Barnard graduate. She was also one hell of a wonderful human being, and I think you know that March 11th at the Ethical Cultural Society, 2 West 64th Street, there will be a service. If anybody wants more information, please let me know. Thank you.
Councilmember Salam, followed by Riley.
Thank you. Today I raise a matter of public safety and accountability that affects all New Yorkers. Every day while NYPD vehicles move throughout our streets, serving an important public safety function, they must do so responsibly and in compliance with the law. We currently have no systematic way to track whether police vehicles are exceeding speed limits, nor to analyze patterns in police vehicle collisions. In my former role as the chair to the Committee on Public Safety, I had repeatedly and not received the PD's patrolman's guide that outlines the procedure for vehicular pursuits, so that we can come to the table and discuss how to keep pedestrians safe during high-speed chases. I am introducing a bill, Intro 780-2026, that requires NYPD to collect speed data for every police vehicle in motion, compare those speeds to applicable speed limits, and to publish this information on a publicly accessible map. It also mandates detailed reporting on every collision involving police vehicles, including the speed at which the vehicle was traveling, the type of collision, and whether any pedestrians were injured or killed. Transparency creates accountability. When data is public, we can identify problem areas, see patterns, and work together to improve safety. This is not about attacking the police. This is about ensuring that public is not harmed inadvertently. Communities deserve to know this information. They deserve to understand the risks on their streets and to hold their government accountable. This bill, if passed, takes effect immediately, and I urge my colleagues to support this measure for transparency, accountability, and safer streets for all New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Riley, followed by Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today, I'm proud to introduce 3 resolutions addressing major challenges facing families across our city: the need for affordable housing and the access to affordable, reliable childcare. Across New York State, there's a shortage of more than 630,000 affordable homes for extremely low-income households, leaving too many families struggling to find stable housing they can afford. The first resolution, Reso 363, calls on the state legislature to pass the New York Fair Housing Act, sponsored by State Senator Robert Jackson. This legislation will require municipalities to plan for and meet their fair share of affordable housing needs, ensuring that communities across New York contribute to addressing our housing shortage. The second resolution, Reso 364, calls on the state to pass Assembly Bill 7828A and Senate Bill 7939, sponsored by Assemblymember Torres and State Senator Jamal T. Bailey, creating an affordable housing insurance relief fund program to help developments manage rising insurance costs and keep affordable housing projects financially viable. And finally, I'm proud to join my colleagues, Councilmember Caban, Stevens, and Gutierrez, in introducing Reso 365, supporting Senate Bill 4924 and Assembly Bill 1303, which is legislation that will remove wage and hour requirements that currently prevent some working families from qualifying for child care assistance. Today, 63% of young children live in households where all parents work, yet many families still struggle to access affordable child care. I urge my colleagues to support these resolutions as we continue to work to make New York more affordable for families across our city and state. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Lewis, followed by Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. Today, I'm proud to reintroduce a package of legislation focused on advancing pay equity, strengthening recognition of women in the workforce, and ensuring public safety and transparency for New Yorkers across our city. Together, these measures address critical gaps in accountability and opportunity while reinforcing our commitment to fairness and economic mobility. I want to call attention to 3 bills in particular. Intro 744 expands the city's ability to identify and address disparities in pay and employment practices among city contractors by requiring the reporting and analysis of workforce data disaggregated by pay band, race, ethnicity, and gender. This bill strengthens transparency and allows us to identify inequities that too often remain hidden within contracting relationships. Reso 357 calls on the legislature to pass A5906, requiring employers to disclose information about benefits and additional compensation, such as bonuses, commissions, and stock options. Pay transparency must extend beyond salary alone if we are serious about closing wage gaps and ensuring workers have the information needed to advocate for fair compensation. Finally, Reso 359 recognizes the critical contributions of women of color in one of the fastest growing sectors in our economy. By declaring March 24th as Women of Color in Tech Day in New York City, we acknowledge both the achievements of women innovators and the barriers that will prevent many from fully accessing opportunities in the workforce. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Maloney, followed by Morano.
Thank you. This month is Women's History Month, and I'm proud to introduce a resolution that calls on Congress to add the Equal Rights Amendment to the Constitution as the 28th Amendment. Thank you to Speaker Menon, Deputy Speaker Williams, and Chair of the Committee on Women and Gender Equity, Councilmember Farias, and all the co-sponsors for supporting this resolution. The ERA has already been ratified by 38 states, and it's high time that Congress remove the ratification deadline and permanently enshrine women's rights in the Constitution. New York has long led in the fight for women's equality, going back to the first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls. And today we lead again by adding New York's voice to the growing national movement demanding that Congress finally recognize the will of the people. This is an 110-year fight that has spanned generations. The ERA was authored by my relative Alice Paul in 1923. It was later sponsored in the U.S. House of Representatives by a great New Yorker, Bella Abzug, and more recently championed by another great New Yorker, former Congresswoman Carol Maloney, my mother. This Women's History Month, a nonprofit, ERA Now, is driving across 25 states in the original 1914 Saxon motor car that 2 suffragists used to mobilize support for the 19th Amendment in 1916. Just as that journey helped build momentum for women's right to vote, this resolution is meant to inspire cities and communities across the country to finally call on Congress to recognize the ERA. So let us be clear, as a majority-led female council, that equality delayed is equality denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Morano, followed by Councilmember Farias.
Thank you very much. Following discussion of important issues like pay equity, public safety, education, what I'm about to mention may seem silly, but I assure you that it's not. Now, a lot of you look very tired today. Now, perhaps some of you, because you got up early, as Councilmember Sanchez and Councilmember Zhuang did, to join me for a press conference saying people shouldn't be fined for not having garbage pails they didn't get yet, and that's an important issue. Or perhaps you were co-moderating a roundtable on black veterans, as Councilmember Riley and Councilmember Salam were, an incredibly important issue, serving an underserved portion of our city. However, I think for everybody else, it probably has to do with the fact that we set the clocks ahead an hour this past weekend. In 2026, in an era of AI, self-driving cars, and where I can FaceTime one in Baghdad as easily as someone in Brooklyn, we are still changing our clocks like farmers twice a year. This is madness. Absolute madness. The week after daylight saving time, we see heart attacks up. We see accidents up. I was at an assembly, and the kids were falling asleep as I was talking to them in the first period, and it's not for the usual reason that I'm boring. This is crazy. But yes, my friends, there is a better way. There are 2 states that do not observe daylight saving time. So we as a state can opt out of this, and that's why I ask you to consider signing on to Reso 361, which calls on the state of New York to opt out of this daylight saving time insanity. We have a standard time that used to end in mid-April. For some reason, for the last 22 years, it now ends the first week in March. It makes no sense. Anyone trying to put a toddler to bed in broad daylight understands it. Anyone trying to commute to work in pitch black understands it. I ask you, please, co-sponsor Reso 361. Thank you.
I think we're all awake now. Councilmember Epstein, followed by Councilmember Sanchez, Justin Sanchez. Sorry, my apologies. Councilmember Farias, followed by Epstein.
Councilmember Morano, Puerto Rico does not do daylight savings either, so we'll be on board there. Good afternoon, colleagues. Today, I'm proud to introduce 2 pieces of legislation that respond to very real issues facing New Yorkers in both our digital lives and in our communities. First, I'm introducing Resolution 352 in support of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her federal legislation, the Defiance Act of 2025. As technology evolves, so do the ways people can be targeted and harmed online. The rise of AI-generated deep fakes has made it frighteningly easy to create non-consensual sexually explicit images using someone's likeness without their knowledge or consent. These digital forgeries are overwhelmingly used against women and girls and can have devastating consequences for victims' safety, careers, and mental health. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez's legislation would finally provide victims with a clear federal civil cause of action against those who create, distribute, or profit from these abuses. Resolution 352 allows New York City to stand firmly in support of that effort and to send a strong message that our laws must keep pace with technology and protect people's dignity and privacy. Second, I'm introducing Intro 729. In partnership with the Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union, RWDSU, which addresses a growing issue in retail stores across our city. As self-service checkout becomes more common in pharmacies and large food retail stores, we've seen the consequences of removing workers from these spaces: increased retail theft, less oversight, fewer protections for both workers and customers, and generally decreased safety. Intro 729 would require stores operating self-checkout to ensure proper staffing in those areas and establish a 15-item limit to maintain safety, accountability, and fairness in the checkout process. This bill is about protecting good jobs, supporting workers on the front lines, and creating a more secure shopping environment for New Yorkers. I encourage my colleagues to sign on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Epstein, followed by Justin Sanchez.
I feel like it's our road today, so I want to thank the Speaker for her work this week. I know we've had a tough couple of weeks. We announced earlier last week about our Animal Rights Caucus, so today's the day. If anyone hasn't joined, they can join. You know, it's an issue across our city, whether dealing with affordability for pets, dealing with animal issues, whether, you know, we've heard from all our colleagues, whether it's around elephants or horses or other animals and birds. So those are issues we're going to have to deal with here in the council. The other issue is people may know that the Merchants House Museum, a couple of weeks ago, me and a couple of our colleagues went there. We learned that is a underground railroad spot. There's a potential building being built next door that will impact the potential Merchants House and its stability to remain. This is a historic fixture in our city and something we need to preserve. We're sent around a letter to circulate to talk about how we can preserve the Merchants House, going before Landmarks Preservation Committee on the 17th. I hope my colleagues will help us to support the Merchants House to keep it. You know, the history of New York and the history of the Underground Railroad lives today on 4th Street in New York, and it's all of our responsibility together to protect that history and stand up for what it stands for. And thank you all.
Councilmember Justin Sanchez.
I rise once more. Well, seat. Bad Bunny rose around the world to talk about the greatness of New York, and today I join him and flip the call around and talk about the greatness of Puerto Rico. Today we are introducing Resolution 372. This resolution calls on the Legislative Assembly of Puerto Rico to pass and the Governor of Puerto Rico to sign legislation to repeal Act 22 and to implement a progressive tax policy to minimize the revenue losses to federal, state, city, and territorial governments. My grandfather came here from Manatí, Puerto Rico. He was a presser, a cab driver, and every retail worker job under the sun. And his grandson got to grow up and become a city council member. And people all across Puerto Rico and people all across our city deserve to be able to come here and not be priced out and taken advantage of by those that are considered high wealthy tax individuals. So I rise to ask that my colleagues join me in supporting this resolution and for Un Puerto Rico Libre. Gracias.
As a reminder for folks, COIB training is immediately following stated. I'll now call on Speaker Julie Menin to close today's stated meeting.
Thank you so much. So this closes today's stated meeting of March 10th, 2026. We are hereby adjourned. Thank you, everyone.